Right, looks like it's working finally. The stream is up, so welcome back. Good evening, everyone. As you can see, we are here once again for some more racing in F1 Total. This is Division 1, this is Season 17, and this is round number 4 at the track that you're gonna see in just a moment. If you haven't recognized it already from the pit lane, it is one of the most beloved tracks, Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. One of the most favorite tracks among fans, among drivers, and what that promises to have absolutely brilliant racing from start to finish. I am Biz Gabriel, your usual commentator, and I will take you through tonight's action here in Belgium. Qualifying is now underway, and the drivers are already out on track to set their first laps in this qualifying session. And let's see how it goes for their bankers. Spa-Francorchamps, really, there's so many things to say about this track. It's the longest track of the calendar in terms of kilometers. It's 7 kilometers long, which means that it's only 22 laps long in a 50% race distance, and just absolutely thrilling. A roller coaster from start to finish, 100 meters of elevation change, and absolutely iconic corners, especially Uruge and Radion, that can be taken easily flats out. One of the most thrilling corners to drive, and maybe to overtake if you see some drivers brave enough um, to send an overtake around there, especially on lap 1. Not really anything I would usually do, but we've seen it from time to time. It is exciting when we do see it, but also a lot of other iconic corners to try some overtakes, like Blanchimont, flats out in sector 3, going to the left, and we see many overtakes around the outside or even on the inside. There's the bus stop chicane where you could absolutely send it at the end of the lap. There's the camera straight, Lecombe, DRS through the camera straight, and I just keep repeating these things over and over again. Absolutely, personally, my favorite track, and I'm sure it is also some of our driver series' favorite tracks. So yeah, in the meanwhile, Alex has set the fastest lap time of the moment, at 1 minute 41.363. I'm also pretty sure this is like the track with the longest lap time in the calendar. Not the one with most corners, because I think that's Jeddah, but yeah, the one with more kilometers in terms of distance and higher lap time. So yeah, Alex provisionally on top with his teammate Felix just behind. De Bosler in VCAB after quite a long time. I haven't seen him racing actually. He is back in the VCAB for today, at least it looks like. And if we look at VCAB, you might also see an interesting name. A name of a driver that we're always used to see at one particular track only, and that particular track is Monaco. And for the first time, I am seeing this driver race at another track that it's not Monaco. That driver has just set a lap on the Inters on a bone-dry track. That is Nairo Guillot from France, the Monaco merchant. He's finally racing at another track, and that's Belgium. Couldn't have picked a more different track to Monaco. Like, Monaco the shortest, Belgium the longest. Absolute cinema. And he just set a lap on the Inters. Maybe to warm himself up, to get some confidence at this maybe new track. Okay, I'll stop with the jokes, that's enough. In the meanwhile, Cat Chaser has beaten Alex provisional pole position time and sets at a lap that's only 10 thousandths faster, a 1 minute 41.352. Right now, we are watching Marco Darko in the Alpine as he goes around the bus stop chicane in the very last few corners of the track, and with a little bit of a slide, trying to get the power down and not really finding the optimal traction as he sets a lap 2.2 seconds off of pole position and around 6 tenths slower than his teammate Pocho, who's currently in P7. So the two Alpine boys currently in the 4th row, and it's just the Martins boys in the 3rd row. Jeremy, the winner of last week's Hungarian Grand Prix, who actually was reported in a few incidents, but actually the stewards said no further action for all of his incidents, so he maintained the win, and he is also leader of the drivers' standings. if we can look at it, Jeremy is leading by 50 points. Alex is in P2 with 45. Cat Tracer is tied with Felix. They are both on 43, and Cat Tracer provisionally stays ahead because of comeback. We also got Shamul P5 on 30 points, Sully P6 25 points, Guga River 20 points in P7. We got Pocho P8, PC Willy P9, Morgan in P10, and we are pretty much going down to the drivers that have single-digit points. We got PC Willy, who had not really a great start to the season, only managed to score 9 points in the first 3 rounds, and let's see if he can redeem himself at Belgium. Let's see what he can do. And right now we are watching his banker lap, and sets 30.8 in the first sector at the moment, as he now goes downhill through turn 8, Rivage, this very long right-hander, still going downhill, and then into no name corner or speed corner. Not really an official name to this corner, but now into Puhan, flat out in qualifying, an absolutely thrilling corner, the double left-hander, absolutely iconic. And now we go to finish sector 2 at this last few chicane, which I think it's called Fagn, and I don't even know if I pronounced that correctly. PC Willy finishes sector 2 with a 1 minute 14.412, as he now starts going uphill once again, exiting Savelot, and he will be approaching Blanchimont anytime soon. And let's check it out, the Mercedes driver flat out to the left, and get the braking right for the bus stop chicane, braking extremely late and staying in 3rd gear, and riding those curves both on the right and on the left. Get the power down for the good traction, DRS enabled, and it's provisionally P6 for PC Willy. Splits the 2 Aston Martins apart, and now there are 9 minutes left into qualifying. Now we can look at PC Willy's teammate Phantom Fox, who is now approaching Puhan behind another car. I hope he doesn't get affected by dirty air. There's a vehicle just ahead of him who looks to not be pushing, and now he's getting very close. Will he get out of the way? He should get out of the way in time. Yes, he does. I don't know if that impacted him somewhat, but at least he got out of the way just before turn 14 to finish sector 2. Now we got the other Mercedes driver approaching Blanchimont right now. And the British driver across the bus stop chicane gets the power down, a little bit tricky, and sets his first lap of the session, which is only P11, 1 minute 43.7, I believe that was, 2.4 seconds off of pole position. But let's go back to the top, because Alex is now pushing once again as he dips a tire on the grass, slightly going around Rally on the right, and he's provisionally 10 thousandths away from pole position. And after sector 1 he could already beat it, improving by 30 thousandths. Now he goes around Lecombe, absolutely requiring a lot of precision in your line and in your inputs. And now get the car rotating nicely through Rivage and into No Name, taking in 5th gear, trying to carry as much speed as possible. And same goes for Puan, which is gonna be flat out in 7th gear. Watch out for the track limits, and it does it very nicely. 2 cars out of the way, and now goes through Fagner, stays in 5th gear for the right, 5th gear for the left, uses all of the exit, 6th gear, and now downshifting into 4th, get the braking right and the line for good exit through Stavlot, and already a massive improvement, 2 tenths and a half. Alex could fight for pole position again. Let's see, he just needs to finalize it around the bus stop chicane, and meanwhile Jeremy splits the 2 Haas apart. The last week winner goes up into P3, but Alex, who was fighting for the win, takes a lot of curb and somehow doesn't invalidate the lap, and he can go to set a 41.119, improving by a little bit more than 2 tenths and a half. Alex the G, the German driver, one of the 2 German drivers in the Haas, claims pole position at the moment. 6 minutes left on the clock. Let's remember, this is the longest track of the calendar, so the drivers really need to get their timings right in how they manage the time in qualifying. They need to absolutely nail when they need to go out on track, how much their in-laps and out-laps will last, so that they have a guarantee that they will be able to set another run. And in the meanwhile, Nagiot, the Monaco specialist, all of a sudden could prove himself as a Belgium specialist, and is the first driver to go down into the 140s, a 140.814 for the French driver in the V-Carb, and takes pole position away from Alex. So if he's gonna try to reclaim pole position again, he's gonna have to at least find 3/10 of improvement. He found less than 3/10 earlier in his previous lap, and I don't know if he will be able to find those again. But we'll see how it goes. So who do we have pushing? I think we have Depositor in the V-Carb. Is he pushing? Actually, it doesn't look like it, yeah. Sean is invalidated. Google River as well. Pocho looks like to be pushing. He just needs to drive around bus stop chicane to finish another lap. An Italian driver goes up into P9, improves by almost half a second, 485 thousandths of a second to be exact. We got a Mercedes and a Ferrari across the line. The Ferrari is back into the pits. That's Google River, Fox as well. Back into the pits. We've got Niall on his in lap. Aston Martin, that's Sully. Who else? Sean still invalidated. That Alpine, I can't. Oh, Pocho, who well, I don't think is pushing anymore. Or is he? No, he's not. Never mind. I mean, it doesn't look like it's pushing. Or is he? I still don't understand, to be honest. Okay, it's not. So at least we've got a confirmation of that. And no one is pushing right now. 3 minutes and a half left on the clock here before qualifying ends around Spa. Cal Tracer is on the outlap. He has missed last week's Hungarian Grand Prix, and that allowed him to be tied on points with Felix, and also to lose the championship lead crucially. It's not as bad as it seems, because it's only 7 points away, but still probably a setback if he doesn't maximize whatever he can out of the races he can't attend. He needs to obviously make up for it. Let's see what can he do now. His current lap time 41.3, and a very don't know how to describe line just before he starts the lap, but catches and now starts his final run here in qualifying and braces for turn 1. La Source at the 100 meter board and extremely late on the brake, but still gets the car rotated, goes down into second gear, overtake on the exit, deploy as much battery as you possibly can, and now you go downhill and flats out uphill into a Rouge and Radion, and still using overtake at the exit, and now we go into the chemistrate. DRS enabled. This is where we reach the top speed, and we go past 340 kilometers per hour. We actually reached 342, but now we brake fully common, improves by 10 thousandths after sector 1. Now fourth gear, flats out into the right hander of turn 7 in fifth gear, and now downhill into Rivage, brakes still even later, gets the car rotated nicely. Third, fourth, fifth gear, actually downshifts to fourth and slightly goes beyond the track limits and into the gravel, but the lap is still valid and he still has a chance to improve. Flats out into Puhan, seventh gear as he goes to the left. The Aston Martin gets out of the way and upshifts into 8th before downshifting to 4th, 4th, 5, stays in 4th, now actually upshifts into 5th, 6th and down into 4th gear once again for the right hand of turn 14, finishing sector 2 with the improvement of a 10th and a half. Now into Stablot, down, actually up we go, uphill once again, still using battery, still using overtake mode, flat out, foot to the pedal, as he now prepares himself for the braking zone of the bus stop chicane. Extremely late on the brakes at the 100-meter board, but still stops the current time, makes the apex perfectly, and has a very good exit. And for Car Chaser, his best lap will be a 140.9, and it's not good enough for pole position, but good enough for at least a provisional P2, because Alex is also pushing at the moment. Jeremy has started pushing now, Felix as well, so this is very much still a fight for pole position. Car Chaser found a lot of improvement, but it was not enough to claim pole position out of Nagiot, who is actually pushing once again as he has just exited right on. DRS enabled, overtake mode enabled for the V-Cup driver. Will we see an improvement after sector 1? Slightly, just by 18 thousandths of a second, and absolutely sent his car through the curb. A slight lift for the right-hander exiting turn 7. 6th gear and downshifting to 3rd, hugging the inside line of Riage as much as possible. 5th gear all the way through no name corner, overtake enabled once again, and now we go downhill into Puhon with an apex speed of 282 kilometers per hour flat out, absolutely carrying so much speed. And now we go around back, 4th gear right now, upshifts into 5th on the exit, 6th and down into 4th once again for the right-hander exiting sector 2. That's an improvement of 2 times and a half. Nagio looks to set an absolutely flying lap here around Spa-Francorchamps. At the moment there is nothing stopping him to set a new track record. And now we go into Blanchimont, still using overtake with an apex speed of 322 kilometers per hour, braking extremely late at 100-meter boards. 2nd gear for the bus stop chicane and gets a very good exit, absolutely unmatchable traction, and he sets a 40.574. Absolutely amazing lap from Nagio. Alex doesn't find the improvement that he needs for pole position. Felix finds an improvement just to secure himself a spot on the 2nd row behind his teammate, but he's still 5 tenths behind pole position. The Hungarian Grand Prix winner Jeremy will start in P5. The Buzzler, the teammate of the pole sitter, P6 for him. Or will it be P6, because Sully is still pushing as he now exits bus stop chicane and he goes across the line, avoiding the McLaren, stays in P7 just behind the Vic of the Bosler. Gogariro in the Ferrari in P8, PC Willie in the midfield in P9. Porsche is decided, but he's in P10. Sean will be the first driver to start the Belgian Grand Prix outside of the points finishing position. That's P11 for the Scottish driver in McLaren, and I do think behind him was Phantom Fox, but we will see in just a moment. It was actually Marco Darko in P12, then we got Bazooka Joe in P13, always P14, Fabian actually making also his return after a very long time. I actually noticed only just now. Apologies for that. Well, Phantom Fox will actually start in that last, a 43.7. I believe the season 10 Belgian Grand Prix winner in Division 1 will start at the back of the grid, 3 seconds of pole position and down into P16. And there we go. What an exciting qualifying that was. The top 5 consisting of the usual 4 German drivers and a completely surprised pole sitter Nagio with an absolutely amazing lap, secures himself P1. And around Belgium, let's note that the pole sitter will actually start on the inside, unlike most tracks, so he's gonna have to well, he's not really gonna have to defend the inside line because he's already on the inside line. But this could also mean that if P2 gets a good start, a good purchase of the start, he could just switch to the inside and send it down into La Source. In real life Formula 1, we've also seen some questionable incidents at La Source, turn 1. Obviously, we hope that doesn't happen. It would be fun, but obviously we hope for that not to happen, especially the drivers they really don't want to get the race ruined in lap 121. Phantom Fox looks like to have disconnected, but I think he joined back. In the meanwhile, I've been notified way before that the race was gonna be all dry. Unlike Division 2, because we had 3 wet races in a row in Division 2, and Division 1, I think I haven't seen it rain not even once. And Belgium is like one of the tracks with the highest chances of rain. We don't get the rain in Division 1. We do get it in Division 2. But I guess that's one less problem for the drivers. It's going to be all dry, and they're just going to have to bring it home and manage their tires. And the formation lap is now about to go underway.
The formation lap gets underway, and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure their car is ready for the battle once the lights go out.
So we do got a pretty balanced tire choice across the grid. The 2 Haas boys are starting on the hards, the front row, both on mediums, midfield mostly on mediums. I think we've got...
As the cars come back to the grid to line up at the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can. And they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that within the points.
So the game suggests a 2-stop. Or maybe a 3-stop, obviously it's not going to be a 3-stop. It does suggest a 2-stop, and I have to say the tire is very high around Spa, but my predictions is that it is still going to be a 1-stop. With enough management, it can be a 1-stop, and it should be faster at the end of the day. We see how it goes. We are about to go racing at Spa-Francorchamps. And it's lights out, and away we go for the Belgian Grand Prix. And Nagio gets a perfect start and now tries to defend the outside line from Katjes, who actually carries a lot of momentum around the outside. Into turn 1, wheel to wheel they go, and there's a Ferrari and a McLaren making contact on the apex. But Katjes with an even more brilliant start, he actually takes P1 just at the exit of La Source. And Alex already losing some time on those hard tires, already 3/10 behind the front row. And now it's gonna be an absolute slipstream fest into the camera straight, and Nagio takes the toe as much as he can and goes to the outside line for the come. Katjes defends the inside line and stays ahead. Jeremy Knox fighting for position. Alex goes off the track by himself, and now he gets passed by his teammate, and maybe he lost it there. The Bosler goes into the gravel and he gets spun round. The Bosler with a misjudgment through the comb, fighting side by side with Alex. He goes off the gravel and he spins round and he's down in P16. We got some battles in the midfield as well. Pocho and PC Willy trying to battle for position. And look at the Aston Martin driver. That's gonna be Sully down the inside of Puhan, overtaking Alex. Alex really now with the best possible starts as he drops down to P6 or maybe even P7 as Guga River is trying a move around the outside of Fang that is still going wheel to wheel, but now the Ferrari driver will have the inside line for Stavelot and he stays ahead. Guga River goes up into P7 and Alex with an absolutely horrible start for his standards. He drops down to P7 and it looks like everyone is still in a DRS train despite the Bosler being in dead last. But Katjes is now trying to gap now. 5/10 now separating the two of them. And there we go, we now start the second lap. DRS will be enabled already on the camera straight. The detection point is a bit later after the exit of La Source, turn 1. And Guga River could already lose DRS. Has he lost DRS? Yes, indeed he has. So Alex now has a chance to fly past Guga River and try to gain back some important time to the drivers ahead. There's gonna be Sully just ahead of Guga River, and now it is just ahead of Alex, who opens his rear flap, and now he can chase after the Aston Martin driver. He still needs to make the hard compound work because it really looks like there's a huge pace difference between the hards and the mediums, at least at the moment. But Jeremy as well is dropping down quite a lot. 1.2 seconds between Jeremy in P3 and Niall in P2, who's trying to chase Katjes as close as he can. But the Aston Martin driver doesn't seem to have the pace to just stay in his gearbox, which is gonna mean that Felix will suffer from some dirty air in this lap unless he gets past very soon, whether it's Stavelot or Blanchimont. or the source of the camera straight. I think will be the camera straight mainly, but he will still lose a lot of time with the dirty air, chasing Jeremy just ahead of him. But we do have a lot of chases, a lot of pursuits around the midfield mostly, but I would say across the entire field. Looks like PC Willie is the closest. Actually, no, Felix is the closest to Jeremy. He's just hounding his rear. And Gatchers sets the fastest lap of the race at the moment, 1:44.992. And Jeremy is seriously dropping behind. It really doesn't look like he has the pace to hold on. Got PC Willie chasing Pocho, chasing Google River, but mainly Felix chasing Jeremy as he now finally opens the DRS and goes to the left hand side of the straight. That's gonna be the normal racing line for Lecombe. We see an Alpine in the background, that's Pocho, overtaking Google River finally. And we have a beautiful aerial shot of the cars going around Lecombe and Rivage. So now Felix has a lot of work to do. 2.7 seconds from the car ahead of him. That's Nagio on a different, faster compound, but he's chasing the leader and he's not giving up anytime soon. Gatchers looks to be absolutely gapping Nile on the straights. Is he running a lower downforce setup? We got some battle between Always and Fabian. Always goes around the outside of Blanchimont, the Ferrari, and the Williams still going wheel to wheel, but Always stays ahead and carries more speed. Fabian slightly goes side by side and he goes back into the pits already. An extremely early pit stop for Fabian, already on lap 4. And that's not a wing change, it just goes from mediums to hards this early. Not sure what strategy he's trying at the moment, but now we got Alex finally overtaking Sully. They both have DRS, but now Alex goes up into P5 and he looks to have more pace than the drivers ahead, so now he's gonna be chasing after Jeremy, maybe overtaking him anytime soon. Gogo River and Pocho still fighting and busy, but he's trying to find a gap as he now got 3 cars fighting through the comb. Gogo River stays ahead and busy, but he's trying to force a gap on the inside of Pocho, just looking at the inside of Rivage. But no moves being made yet. He just stays behind and chooses to stay behind through Pujon. Not really any point in trying to force a move. So that's gonna come later. Nair still has the same gap as before, approximately 6 tenths, and it keeps getting bigger in every straight. But now Nair looks to be slightly closing in. He sends it on the brakes and actually almost loses the car in the meanwhile. Let's see. Oh, what happened? Nagio just teleporting on the back, losing 2 seconds all of a sudden. What? Was he lagging? I think it was lagging. Oh, he's definitely lagging. He just teleported to P5. And that's absolutely inconvenient for Nagio. His connection playing tricks on him, teleporting him, making him lose 2 seconds from P1 initially, and now dropping him from P2 to P5. All of a sudden, he now finds himself with Sully behind him and Alex ahead of him. And now Cal Tracer suddenly has a 3.5 seconds gap from Felix 1. And that's absolutely brilliant for Cat Tracer. Really what he was hoping for. And now he just got that. And now he has a lot of breathing room behind him. Yellow flags for Fabian, going round the comb into the gravel, and he spins the car around. So now Felix will finally be in clean air, and with quite some distance from Jeremy behind. And he's just gonna have to keep a consistent pace, maybe wait for the point where the hards start to be faster than the mediums. And actually, I do think we might not be that far from that crossover point. I wouldn't really be able to tell what lap the hards start to get faster, but I don't think we're that far away. So now Jeremy with the RS, with also Alex and Niall just behind, and Niall goes from up down the inside of Alex, sends another brakes at Lecombe, and his mediums still look to have more grip than the hards. And that's an easy pass. And PC Willie, oh look at this, PC Willie, Gugari and Pocho fighting once again through the cover, and ooh, PC Willie makes contact with Gugari, but Fabio retires in the pit lane. PC Willie going off track on his own, it looks like, as he was trying to battle through the comb once again. Now his teammate Phantom Fox is very close behind him. Pocho has lost a lot of time, that's 5 seconds from Sally ahead, so it looks like we have pretty much two separate grids. I mean, we have Cat Tracer 3.6 seconds ahead of everyone. Then we got from Felix to Sully, although Sully doesn't have DRS. And then from Pocho to Depositor with some gaps here and there. But this midfield battle looks to be very much on. Oh, there's a spin! There is a spin by PC Willie! Going around that Stavelot, and he goes down to P12. A costly mistake around Stavelot. The Scottish driver goes down in P12, and now he's behind always, and now side of the points finishing position. Sully goes into the pits already on lap 7, from the mediums to the hards, I believe. A really better set of mediums, let's see. That's hard tires for Sully. So he's already trying to get the mandatory pit stop out of the way and potentially pulling another cut on the drivers ahead. But pitting this early on lap 7, will it be a 1-stop or a 2-stop? I still think it will be a 1-stop, because the Huts can last a lot more. And Jeremy now fighting through the car with Nagio, who tries to hang it around the outside, but it backs up at the last moment, and it looks like Felix and Jeremy were fighting there, and someone got pushed, maybe, we don't know. And oh, Bazooka going completely off-road, taking the escape route after the comb, and jumps down to P13. Now Felix with that battling has lost around a second from Cat Tracer. So right now it's Alex chasing Niall, chasing Jeremy, chasing Felix, but Jeremy risks to be outside of DRS anytime soon. And Catchers is in the pits. We have another medium runner in the pits. And so does Jeremy. So Aston Martin putting Sully in the pit lane earlier than Jeremy, who was running ahead of his teammate. Niall on the mediums, he still stays out. Now will Sully be ahead of his teammate? It might be close. Let's see. Jeremy is just exiting the pit lane, but Jeremy stays ahead, so apparently the gap was enough. So now Cartracer going into the pits, it goes down to P6. Felix takes the lead of the race with a decent gap from his teammate. The Buzzer and Marco now fighting as the Buzzer goes past with DRS, making his comeback drive after the mistake earlier in the race. Knight is chasing Alex, still on those minions, but I do think now the minions will start to get slower than the Hearts. Now we got Always and Marco fighting through Fagn. Always stays ahead on those maybe, I mean faster mediums, I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest. But he stays ahead with a nice move on Marco Darko. Cartracer is having to make his way through traffic. He has much fresher tires than Phantom Fox and he's sent it on the brakes down to the side of the bus stop chicane. Now it takes Phantom Fox easily and goes up into P5, and he will have DRS from Google River very soon. There's a Mercedes, no, there was a V-Carb in the pit lane, and Cartracer now sends it on the inside of Google River as well, but he won't have DRS. Google River will have DRS on the camera straight. And we got some medium runners. We got Nagio and Google River and Always still not making their pit stops. Baziga goes on the hard. Depositor on the mediums. And now we have Jeremy who's trying to make moves, and he makes contact with Marco, just slightly rear-handing him. He has much fresher tires and he sends it down inside, but Marco Darko goes so late on the brakes, but Jeremy still finds a gap on the inside. He carries more speed. Marco Darko goes completely off the track, and Jeremy once again with one of his signature moves. Very aggressive racing, but still gets past. Oh, and now Sally getting past Marco Darko as well. Marco dropping like a stone in the midfield. Down to P9 he goes, and he might be attacked by Always soon. Knight is still in the mediums, and I think he should pit anytime soon. Lap 9. It's got to be hit. It's got to be the pit lap. There we go. Finally, the V-Cub goes into the pits. We also have Google River and Always, who ideally should pit this lap. Google River is pitting. Cartracer sets another fastest lap. And Marco Darko on the hard. Pitting on the hard, so lap 10. So now rejoins the track in 7th. We got Always as well pitting. So apart from Felix and Alex, I think everyone made their stops. Yes, everyone on one stop. Apart from Felix, Alex and Phantom Fox, actually, I missed that. PC Weed and Sean fighting for the last point scoring positions, fighting for P9. The Buzzer at Gunga River now. The Buzzer with DRS gets past the Ferrari on the camera straight. Now I do wonder what lap the hard runners will pick. Obviously they will be very lucky if they have a safety car, but that safety car should come around lap 14, 15 maybe. Niall and Sally are fighting. Niall goes past the Aston Martin just before Blanchimont, but Sally still looks to be able to stay close. Doesn't send it, he just stays behind very carefully. but it's an Aston Martin sandwich for Niall. So now Niall is chasing Jeremy and he will have DRS very soon. It's gonna be an easy pass down the camera straight. There we go. Although Jeremy still carries some speed, but it was not enough. Nothing he could have done about that one. Marco and Bazooka fighting as well. Marco gets ahead. And I do wonder who's gonna have DRS between the two. I think it's gonna be Bazooka. Opens DRS and tries to hang in around the outside just before the braking zone. And he pulls ahead. On slower tires, it's fresh hards against fresh mediums. And Marco is still trying to send it somehow, somewhere. Now Niall is overtaking Phantom Fox as well through Fagn. But Niall is 11 seconds behind Kart Racer. Oh, now Jeremy and Phantom Fox once again fighting. So now it's an Aston Martin sandwich for Phantom Fox this time around. They're still on those stand-up so mediums hards, I mean. So there's really barely any defense that a British driver can pull off right now. Catchers is gaining very quickly on those mediums on the two Haas's. .4 seconds from Kart to Alex. Let's see how much more down that gap goes. Phantom Fox has DRS, but so has Sally, who still has a very big overspeed on Phantom Fox, and he goes down the inside of the combat up into P6. The two Aston Martins are back together once again. The Bosler overtaking Sean with DRS and goes up into the points in P10. And Kart Racer has gained around 5/10. He's getting even more in Sector 2. He's getting closer and closer on those fresh mediums. And Team Orders of Williams. Bazooka lets always through. So now he's gonna be responsible to attack Marco Darko. That's interesting. They're not fighting for the points, but they're fighting with everything they can. That's lovely to see. And we have Felix in the pit lane, finally. One of the Haas is finally in the pit lane. Haas trying to bring in Felix before Alex. And he goes in the mediums and he's gonna have to drive around 9 laps on that compound. Alex will have to do an extra lap on all the hards. And he's gonna be dropping down quite a lot. And Kart Racer goes for a 2-stop. And we are seeing some very interesting choice. Kart Racer is choosing strategically a 2-stop. I think he did hard, medium, hard. He's back on another set of fresh hards. And now he's gonna push those tires to the limit. Alex will be in the pit lane, so Niall will be the leader of the race. So Kart Racer only needs to gain 7 seconds in around 9 laps to Niall Guillot on those fresh hards. Can he do it? It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be quite difficult, honestly, because it's not really that big of an advantage of tires between Kart Racer and Niall. And he's gonna have to gain like a little bit less than 1 second per lap. He still has some traffic on his way. Felix as well is gonna have to stash the mediums a long way. So we're seeing drastically different strategy approaches here. And we don't know which one's gonna be a better one. So Marco pits him from the hearts to the mediums, and the undercut from his teammate is absolutely crushing. So much distance between the two horses. And now it's gonna be a DRS fest here in the top places. Sully with a DRS was so with Felix, who just completely flies past him as he now gets closer to Jeremy for P2. And eventually for P1 later on, he needs to catch up to Nile. But his minions will fall off eventually. Now Felix is trying to look down inside. Jeremy defends the inside of Rivage, and Felix tries to hang it around the outside, but there's not enough momentum to do so. Not even a switchback is possible, so he's just gonna have to stay behind for now. But Tracer is menacingly close to Sully, and he just needs to overtake this traffic, all this traffic as soon as he possibly can, otherwise he'll be losing loads of time. But he goes around the outside of Sully at the bus stop chicane. Tracer carries a lot of speed, and what a move from the McLaren driver to get past Sully on those much fresher hards. He carries enough momentum, now he can chase after his long-time rival just ahead of him. They have the same tire range but different compounds. Felix will be faster for the moment. He will have DRS on Jeremy, but I don't know if that's gonna be enough to make a move happen right now. Marco Darko retires in the pit lane. That's very sober for only two up in Jarvis, and Jeremy going very slowly through the column. Felix actually goes into the back of him. Now defends the inside, but Felix still sends it down the inside of Rivage, and he pulls ahead despite Jeremy's defense. He now finally goes up into P2 with those much fresher mediums. He just has much more grip and much more speed to carry through that corner. Now Felix is up into P2. And he's gonna have to gain 7 laps on Nile. He actually lost a lot of time battling, so now he needs to gain a second per lap if he wants to have any chance at attacking Nagio for the win of the race. Now Catres will be the one that needs to get past Jeremy. And look at just how fast can he go around Blanchimont. Goes ahead very easily. So now it's a classic fight. Felix vs Tracer once again. It's 3 tenths now, and if he gets a good exit out of the source, that's definitely good enough for a run down the camera straight. It was the very speed scene, so I do think we have another driver going for the 2-stop. We got Alex chasing Jeremy as well with DRS. He now gets past. But we also do have Tracer who chooses the outside line for the com, and he gets past very easily. Let's remember, Felix still has the fastest tires. He will suffer from a lot of dirty air though. So Tracer Pocho and the Bosler are the only one who are actually trying to two-stop. And Felix seems to be losing time from karts. Look at that! Already 1 second ahead, and this might be big trouble for Felix if he doesn't improve his pace just a little bit more to get past, to get into those 1 second gap again. But it looks like he has put it off. 8 tenths now. Gogarer is very close to Sean Moore. Boy goes very deep in the braking zone for turn 1. That really gives him a bad exit. Now he gets past with DRS, nothing Sean can do about it. They're fighting for P8, they're fighting for 4 points. Felix is getting closer, now just over 3 tenths. He's trying to push his car to the absolute limit to stay close. Now he just needs a good run out of La Source. And already a lot of laps ago, the fight for the win was probably already over for Felix. Managing so much traffic and not allowing him to use the hard medium strategy. On paper that should have been faster, but traffic management really had to set him back and not fight for the win. So now just fight for the P2. He goes on the grass to try and overtake Cal Chaser, and he goes side by side through the common main contact. And Felix goes into the gravel, and Alex almost goes into the back of Cal Chaser, and they are still side by side through Rivage. Felix versus Cal Chaser once again. Now Felix has the inside line after he goes on the grass and into the gravel. He's still maintaining control of the car. He hangs around as I speak on the main contact with Cal Chaser, who almost goes sideways but saves the car mid corner. And now Alex gets through, up into P3 he goes, and I think that might be looked at the stewards. I'm not really sure. For me, that's racing, but there were some questionable points of contact. But Felix going on the grass, overtaking catches, very reminiscent of Alex Albon, and he has pulled it. He has made it work, but he knows just how much time is lost to Niall, and he already lost the chance to fight for the win many laps ago. So now the only thing he can do is to manage a podium and possibly a P2 instead of a P3. And it also does look like that the two Haas's are gonna race each other. Interviews after the Hungarian Grand Prix have said that there are no current team orders at Haas. Whoever is fastest goes ahead, and the two Haas's will definitely be fighting each other. Now Alex with DRS goes up into P3. It doesn't maintain position, so now this leaves Felix vulnerable to an attack for Count Tracer. Actually, Count Tracer carries more speed, and now he has the outside line for the exit of the comp. They still make contact, they almost push each other onto the curb and onto the gravel, but Count Tracer now stays ahead. And Felix is still trying to stay close to him because he's now gonna have to take not only one car but two of them if he wants to get back up in 2v2. And Car Tracer looks to be dropping outside of DRS from Alex. It's very close, it's just below a second. You can tell he's definitely pushing to try and stay into the gap. Absolutely late on the brakes for the bus stop chicane and doesn't really get the perfect traction on the exit, but he still has DRS right now just before the source. Ooh, very deep into the brakes! Catches are going deep at turn 1 and it doesn't really get him the perfect exit he was looking for. And Felix, does he have DRS? Yes, he does. Just barely stays into that gap. But Catcher is much closer to Alex. Oh, and let's not take our eyes off this midfield battle because we got the buzzer, Phantom Fox and Pocho sending it on the brakes on the inside of Phantom Fox as they go around the comb. And Pocho goes up into P11, steals to score 0 points. But sends a move on Phantom Fox and he can still try and chase the buzzer to secure some points out of this race. Felix is very close to drop out of DRS. And he actually doesn't have it enabled before the source. He needs to get a good exit out of here. The detection point is very close. And Felix is out. No DRS for Felix, so now this is only gonna be a battle for P2 between Alex and Car Tracer, and they have the same tire age. Car Tracer has the hards, which I think they should be faster, but it doesn't really matter what side they're on, because with DRS, Car Tracer gets past very easily, and Alex will just have to follow him through the comb, try to stay close as much as he possibly can, because he can still have a shot to use DRS on the next lap. But Felix, I think, will be frustrated being outside of the podium. And it was a very, very close battle. And Alex is actually dropping down slightly. He might not have DRS. But in the meanwhile, we'll finally go back with the cameras on Nagio because he now starts lap 22, the last lap of this Belgian Grand Prix. Showing absolutely outstanding pace. He has built up his reputation as the Monaco specialist. He now proves himself as a worthy contender at any track. the complete opposite of Monaco. He has proved his talent at such a difficult and complete track. Could have been a race where he could have fought for every single position from start to finish, but instead it was just a mix of perfect consistency, perfect pace, and a perfect strategy to build such a gap from P2 and absolutely have no contention in the later stages of the race. So I've got to say, an absolutely, maybe not absolutely dominant performance from Niall, but definitely an outstanding one to show his control he had over his opponents here in Belgium. And he might not be an official driver, he's actually only reserving for VCARB. But that's definitely a performance to remember in his career. And after a long time at a track that is not Monaco, Niall Guillot will finally be remembered as a race winner at another track, and that track is Spa-Francorchamps. Niall Guillot wins the Belgian Grand Prix in Division 1 Season 17, and Catracer pulling off a two-stop strategy opposite to his opponents, finishes the race up into P2. Alex stays in P3, drops out of DRS, and he couldn't have fought. He actually didn't fight as much as he thought he could, but brings home a podium for a Haas. But it's gonna be an heartbreak for Felix because it's only one Haas driver on the podium, and Felix now loses 6 points to Car Tracer, or maybe even 7 if he has the fastest lap. Yes, loses 7 points to Car Tracer. That's only P4 for Felix and Haas. And it's two Aston Martin boys in P5 and P6, Jeremy and Sally respectively. PC with a solid performance, recovering up into P7. Sean finalizing a P8, 4 points for him. De Bosler with a decent comeback after his mistake in the first lap, still secures 2 points, and that's gonna be Goga River with 1 single point in P10. And there we go, the podium celebration here at Spa-Francorchamps. It sees 2 German drivers, but none of them is on the top step of the podium, because right there it is the French driver Niall Guillot to show an absolutely outstanding performance here in Belgium, and he lifts the trophy very happily. He can spray champagne on his opponents, fills in for VCARB, and absolutely brings a brilliant result for the team, reserving for them. And again, definitely a race he can remember for a long time in his career. But it takes home the 25 points to his name. The fastest lap goes to Car Tracer, so that's 19 points for the German driver. De Bosler, driver of the day, with a very respectable recovery. I have to say, it's very fitting. Got most overtakes, accolade for Fancy Fox, cleanest driver from Always. There we go, the drivers to drop outside of the points are Fancy Fox, who just barely misses out in P11, Always in P12, Batok in P13, Poch in P14, and then we got Marco Darko and Fabian, I believe, who retired early in the race in a pit lane. So yeah, that has been the Belgian Grand Prix, and Guillot takes home the 25 points to his name, and it was exciting. A surprise winner, because we don't usually see him race that often across the entire calendar. He usually only races in Monaco, and that's it. But now he actually fills in for a different track for one time, and he actually wins that. And he makes the championship gaps in terms of points a little bit smaller, because obviously if Catracer had won, he would have gained more points on Felix, so the gaps are somewhat smaller. It's still 7 points between Kurt and Felix. I do think Kurt will take the championship lead out of Jeremy. Most definitely. Yeah, I will. So, yeah. Not really anything else to say, so I can only say that um, yeah, we got the next races. That's gonna be Sunday Realistic Racing League. It's gonna be Suzuka. Then obviously we have round number 5 next week. First in Division 2, then in Division 1, Wednesdays and Saturdays respectively, and it's gonna be Qatar, a very very tricky track, especially for the tires. Track mostly known for MotoGP, and usually requires a lot of precision and a lot of effort from the drivers to have a good race. And yeah, I think will be very exciting in both divisions. So yeah, that's all I have to say for today, and I can only expect you to tune in again to the F1 Total YouTube channel for round number 5 in Qatar. Thank you for watching tonight's race, the Belgian Grand Prix, and goodbye. We will see you